morning to you both. Sarah, let me ask you first. Every day you turn over the pages of the newspaper and it's telling you one thing. The following week you might read the same paper and it's telling you something completely different. Who should we believe?
Well, I think what's happening is that research groups and study groups are seeking a lot more publicity for their papers. So this didn't used to happen. What used to happen was the results of studies would stay within the scientific community. Oh. And they were, from that, you have to follow the trends. You look to see where the evidence is. If something throws up something different than what you believe, then you look to see why that might happen and assess the quality of the studies. But now, because we are aware of what's happening with each study and it's become a headline news, it's leading to confusion because, like you said, one study will show one thing and one study will show something else. It's almost like it needs to be put back into the box and stay within the scientific community until we've got something meaningful to say. So it's very interesting about this 10 portions of fruit and veg. But if you look at the study, what it's actually saying is if you eat 2 portions and you increase to 3, you can lower your risk of disease. If you already eat 5 and you increase to 7, you can lower your risk of disease. So it's not saying eat 10, new target, it's just saying eat more than you actually do and you'll be healthier. But, 10 is the headline because that's what everybody's going to be interested in.
It's got most people going this morning, are you joking? I can barely manage 5 portions of fruit a day. I mean, 10 portions of fruit a day is nearly a kilo, Linda, which for a lot of people is just, they just can't do it a day. But is that a good point that Sarah's making, that the 5 a day has always been a target? You might not get there, but it's just common sense that the more fruit and veg you eat, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the better it is for you.
Well, let me just say, to start with, that this is a really interesting story because the folks down at the Imperial have studied or analysed at least 100 studies from around the world involving about 4 million people.
They've compiled
and they have compiled all of this because, to a certain extent, I do agree with what Sarah's saying about these random research studies that are carried out all over the world all the time, every day, and then that's released to the press. This is slightly different because it's an analysis of a whole bunch of information. So we all know for sure that eating lots of fruit and vegetables is going to improve your chances of staying healthy for longer. Now, the whole thing is, Sarah, I completely agree with you. 5 or 10 is almost a random sort of figure, really. I mean, I suppose what they're saying is we really need to double the amount of fruit and vegetables. I would say, less on the fruit side and more on the vegetable side, because there's a great danger. I mean, I was listening this morning on the radio and people were talking about, well, I have 4 apples, and a kilo of oranges and a whole pineapple. It's not about that. It's about understanding the value of increasing the amount of vegetables, particularly, and fruit in your diet. And the key thing is the variety of fruit and vegetables that you're choosing. So if you cannot, I think about 3 in 10, I think, actually, of us manage to do 5 a day. So to ask people to consume 10 portions a day is stretching it a little bit.
Can you whack it into a juice, though? I mean, you can actually put like 4 things in a juice.
No,
that's actually not a juice. That's
because there's conflicting advice when
it
it comes
doesn't
to
really
that.
work that way.
One report will say you should only eat fruit in its raw form. Another report will say actually it doesn't matter if you put it in a juice.
Well, it doesn't really matter, but it's just that if you put 4 pieces of fruit into
Well, you've released the sugars.
Exactly, so it's not great.
You've made them.
But what if it's all vegetables? You've just put loads of vegetables and you've blended them and you've drunk them. What's wrong with that?
That's one portion.
To many people. for
one portion. It's 100
have soup. Well, because again, Sarah, the reports will say don't juice because it takes all the fibre out or all the nutrients.
It's not the fibre's still there, but it releases the sugars. And so there's nothing wrong with that, but you would want to eat that as part of a mixed meal because that will slow the absorption of the sugars in the body, and it's not that good for your teeth to release the sugars. So there are these little, caveats that you need to keep remembering. If you could just have the message, everybody just eat a little bit more.
Yes, and this goes back to what you were saying right at the start about the problem being a lot of these studies, they come out too soon. We're bombarded by the information.
Yeah.
We spoke to the lead author on the programme, and he even admitted that rarely eats 10 a day, or
Yeah,
struggles
I
to
don't.
eat 10 a day. This is the man who compiled this report. So there is a confusing message there, isn't it? If even people who are doing the survey can't practice necessarily what they preach.
Yeah, I think most people would find 10 a stretch every day. I might do it on holiday when I'm in a nice Mediterranean country and have, the option of salads for breakfast and all that type of thing. But, I don't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and start chopping my tomatoes and, throwing in.
There's a lot of prep involved. Linda, I want to ask you this, because this is something that everybody's tweeting in about this morning, about these health studies. One day it's good for you, one day it isn't bad for you. Red wine. A lot of you interested in the health studies on red wine. And some people are saying a glass a day is good for you, others saying don't touch the stuff.
Well, first of all, I mean, there's definitely evidence.
And a lot of people saying, obviously, wine contains grapes, so is that one of you? 10 a day?
Well, yeah, probably. Yeah, grape skins contain very, very powerful antioxidant in certain types of red wine, not all red wine, by the way. So, I mean, I personally think the Mediterranean diet is fantastic. And yes, they're not coming to too much harm having a glass of wine or two every day. Personally, I don't. But then, each to his own. But back to the 10 a day business. Remember things like beans on toast, or add a tin of beans. You see, beans, I heard this morning one lady say, oh, I'm having beans on toast because I know that the tomato sauce in the beans will count as my, well, of course it won't because it's all sugar, but the beans are qualifying as your one portion a day. So you have beans on toast.
Wait a second, but they've been in a tin can for however many years. Are they still good for you?
Yes.
We've got the fibre,
Yes.
we've got the protein,
Yes.
the minerals.
It doesn't have to be fresh fruit. It doesn't have to be fresh 10 a day. It could be your tomato on top of your pizza, for example.
I think the thing about the wine is it's the, who goes on holiday and sometimes you get poured this little glass of wine, thinks that's it. But that's what it should be. It's 125 mils. And, unfortunately, all the trendy wine bars around us, give you a third of a bottle. And
you have to hold your glass like that, yeah.
So it is good to follow the Mediterranean diet, but we also need to look at the portion control. With those sorts of things.
And as we always end these discussions, everything in moderation. And Sarah Schenker and Linda Johnston, thank you very much.
Thank you.